I wanted to create something a bit more classic French food, meet rock and roller, meet Yves Saint Laurent. We had a lot of celebrity, businessmen. I think that part of my life is done. Let's move on to something else. I really love this tea, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Please help yourself if you want any more.
My baby today is startup, a vitamin startup. It's very confidential, but I learned thanks to that to be very
versatile.
Versatile, exactly. You know how many of my friends, when I told them I'm moving to Bulgaria, told me you're completely insane.
Well, this is why we want to hear about it.
The problem of Bulgarians is they don't understand how good they have it. You know how French people show off all the time and everything with our friends, we have
very proud, expressive.
Yeah. Very show off sometimes as well.
Bulgaria needs that French flair.
Well, we're going to try to bring that.
You're definitely bringing it for sure.
I mean, yeah, I will, obviously, by definition. I'm feeling talkative.
Good, this is what we need.
Very good.
Welcome to this week's podcast hosted by Navigate Finance, your real estate finance partner, where you can realize your potential. Today, we're joined here by JeanBernard Fernandez Versini,
Very well.
who is an entrepreneur, restaurateur, and a real estate investor. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm very well. And you?
Yeah, very good. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me again.
You've been in London for a couple of weeks now?
I've been in London back for a month now.
Okay.
Since I used to live in London for a long time.
Yeah.
And moved to Bulgaria 3 months ago.
Okay.
And a bit of back and forth, but mainly based in Bulgaria. We actually, me and my partner, going back tomorrow. So, yeah.
Excellent. You like tea?
Please.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. And I have to serve some tea if you're here.
Please, thank you very much for me. I've been looking for this tea since I arrived. They look delicious.
You will let me know how it is.
Yeah.
Okay. And whenever you want any more, just go for it.
I will for sure.
So.
Santé.
Santé. Santé.
Very good.
So JB, of course we know about your story and we'll go into it a little bit more and learn more about you. But, you know, just to start off with CoCoBox.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about CoCoBox,
Yep.
the idea, the concept, what it was like for you and what the experience was like overall?
Yeah, well, CoCoBox has been a big learning process for me as an entrepreneur. It was my first venture, and it was the most exciting venture at the time. It's a bit like everything, you know. Your first time is always very exciting, always very scary. I finished school a few years before, finance graduate from New York, and was supposed to go in that field in finance. I actually I actually went on an internship for a fund-to-fund, which didn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
But after few years trying to go in that direction, I got an opportunity to get into the hospitality business. The reason why I was attracted to that environment, since CoCoBox is a restaurant, sorry, I should have mentioned that before, so hospitality. I was
a restaurant in Cannes.
A restaurant in Cannes.
Entertainment, hospitality.
Yeah.
Was it a nightclub as well, or how would you?
No, it was what we call an energy restaurant, something that start low energy and slowly graduate to another level of energy and end up being like a dance club, basically.
Okay.
But the concept itself is start as a restaurant, and with the help of a good DJ. The ambience start to get a bit enhanced, and you end up being surrounded by people.
Interesting people. I mean, it's Cannes. It's during the film festival.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know,
the who's who. Obviously, you have to remember something. When I started this pop-up concept, it was about 16, 17 years ago. There was no such a thing as pop-up so developed. So people didn't really went to those kind of like festival and expect to go to a place that was just open for that moment. So CoCoBox was just open for film festival in Cannes. And back in the day, you didn't have all the different influencers, you didn't have all the different media support, social media support. So
when did it start? Sorry for cutting you off, but when was the launch of CoCoBox?
2007, 2008.
Wow, okay. And how long did it go on for?
Until 2020 and in Cannes, on 2019 in Cannes. Now we have 3 of them open in India, and 1 was just open in Courchevel. But I'm now past that. I'm not involved anymore in the concept itself. I decided to change. But to come back to your first question, the concept itself was to put together an amazing team of people. A very small environment, so you could filter the clients and make a good mix and end up with a good ambience. It was my first restaurant. I didn't have a clue how to put together a restaurant.
How did you get involved into that business?
My parents, since a very young age, lucky for me, brought me to very, very nice restaurants. So since a young age, my parents were used to be in the real estate and land developing business, used to celebrate deals by going to a very nice Michelin star restaurant back in the day. So from a very young age, I've seen our restaurant works and how things go together. And when it comes to me, I still was a bit fearful, but I remember all those years of experiencing that as a client, and I just replicate that. I just went for a good chef and a good DJ and just put everything together and
the masterpiece.
Yeah, well, it works. It works for quite a long time. So and it was really appreciated. We had a lot of amazing people going there. Celebrity, businessman, politics. Back in the day, there was not so many events in the world. There was not so many distraction. Cannes Film Festival was the main event. It is still.
It still is, yeah.
Still,
but synonymous with all sorts of events, you know, movies, real estate even, finance, all sorts of conferences. How many conferences are there every year?
Don't quote me on that, but it's between 45 and 50 weeks of festival.
Wow.
Don't quote me, but it's that kind of level of. You have everything from the marketing, the real estate. You have every sort of festival. But the film festival is the most glamorous.
It's the most glamorous, and of course, a lot of people in real estate finance and real estate in general are familiar with MIPIM.
Yeah, MIPIM.
MIPIM is a big one. It actually just went by now. But yeah, as you say, nothing more glamorous than the film festival, and to be there. And to run a business and have a restaurant business there at that time, it must have been quite stressful, No.
The stress part was the putting together. So it took us every year 5 months to put this restaurant because we were a small team.
Yeah.
The thing that made this venture extraordinary, in my opinion, is not so much that we were successful by in that field, but it was with so small means we made such a big success because we never work with personal fund. We work with sponsors. So the way we would finance the build of this entity would be with the help of sponsors.
Who bought into the vision, bought into the idea, basically.
Yeah. And also at the time, the brand didn't have so many support, marketing support, promotion support. Nowadays, you've got the influencer. So every big brand that had a big budget allocated to Cannes Film Festival at the time, now has this budget cut in many different pieces because most of it goes to influencer. But back in the day, you didn't have that much influencer. So it was
very much exposed on your own, basically.
You have to. We were a platform to expose brands, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
I really love this tea, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Please help yourself if you want any more.
I'm going to finish it.
So what were some of your biggest challenges, running this business?
Well, the first one was to get 2 things. So the way it works is that we had 12 days. in order to compete with the big boys around us, we had to bring events from all over the world. So what we did, we went away to Los Angeles, to New York, and we brought big name clubs or restaurants, and we gave them one night. So for every night of the film festival, we had either a club from outside of Cannes promoting that night, or we had a film premiere, or we had the film party. So the big problem was always because the sponsor, they were mostly interested in what we could give them as a promotion, matching a movie. So the thing was to tell them that we were going to have movies coming to us for dinner, lunch, or after party. And once we got this agreement with the brand, it was for us to go and get those movies. And what happened is, the way it works is basically around end of April, they announce the movie they're going to be during the film festival. So then you've got 1 month to get those movies to do their events in your venue. So it's very stressful because you really need to basically do what you've sold to the brand before and get that as much movie as you can to do their after party in your place.
Wow, okay.
That's
it's a lot of work, huh? And you've got to move quite quickly. That's the nature of it.
And the competition is huge, and the competition
is massive.
The biggest problem, well, now I'm out of it, and I'm glad because since few years, the machine that now act in Cannes are huge. I mean, it's multi millions of pounds of companies coming in and throwing money just for this event. So for me, it's not even possible because we were just a small fish, but we were a very a classic fish.
Well, yeah, and that's good. Something unique because, as you say, there's so many venues and events organizers and restaurants and businesses, especially in Cannes. When you go there, every time I go there, you're surrounded by it. So to stick out and to appeal must take a lot of work.
With small means.
With small means, yeah.
We did, like, to give you an example, 1 year, I remember Vitamin Water booked a beach, and that was the rumor on the street. So I don't have the numbers on paper, I cannot, but the rumor on the street was that for that booking of the beach club, it took them £2 million just for 12 days. We never had £2 million in terms of budget. So the good thing about that learning process for me is that today that I changed my career because I moved after I sold the franchise of CoCoBox in India. I moved from that field for the moment because it's a passion and you never know when you're going to go back to it. But what it taught me is to create business with the help of people without having to spend such a big amount of budget, because it's really easy to create a startup, to create a business, to do some deals when you have big means. But when you have small means, being able to navigate towards the success and create something, well, it's more complicated. And that's what Cannes Film Festival taught me.
Wow. And I guess that's the ultimate challenge, but I'm sure, in that process you learned a lot of useful skills and made incredible contacts, I'm sure,
Oh yeah, well,
that you can use, throughout your current businesses, future businesses.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
No, of course. It's your house, but I'll allow myself.
Thank you very much.
No, it is something special. In Cannes Film Festival or in Cannes, you had the chance and the availability to meet such a variety of important people that if you were smart enough, you could build a good database. And I was smart, so I have a good database from that period of my time that is very useful right now in my venture. Yes, I completely agree. And that's why you always say it's very important to be at the right place at the right time. Right
place and right time, exactly. And before we move on to what you're doing now and your life since CoCoBox, I'd be curious to know, what would you say was your greatest moment there? Whilst you were there, a moment you sat there and thought, wow, okay, it's all come together. I feel like I've really achieved what I wanted to do here?
Okay. CoCoBox brought me to a level in my career during Cannes Film Festival until 2017. In 2017-2018. And 2017-2018, I decided to create a new brand called the Versini.
The Versini, okay.
Yeah, okay. My last name.
Yeah.
And the Versini was a more upscale restaurant. CoCoBox became for me at one point something a bit too mass, a bit something that it's a bit like this Christmas song that you hear every year. You know what I mean? For me, that became
repetitive. You wanted to basically rebrand or take it to the next level.
Yes, and I think also I matured. I went from this guy that loved late night to this guy that basically wanted more refined moment. So the Versini is a French brasserie, upscale. It's a bit like a Cipriani will be for the Italian, Nobu will be for the Japanese, or Akasan for the Chinese, and that is a bit more like when we hear French restaurant, we hear mostly French restaurant from the south of France, such as Bagatelle, such as La Petite Maison, such
very recognizable names globally.
Super successful. I know the guy from Bagatelle since the beginning, and what they've done in their business, it's incredible. But I wanted to create something a bit more classic French food, meet rock and roller, meet Yves Saint Laurent. This atmosphere.
A bit more bespoke.
Yeah. And at that time, because of all this year in Cannes Film Festival, I had created a very good relationship with one of my mentor and good friend, Michael Dolan, who used to be at the time the CEO of Bacardi, and who gave me the chance to develop this brand Versini.
Yeah.
And we created on the top of a Five Seas hotel, which is a 5-star hotel in Cannes, a member club where we would have only Grey Goose and the Bacardi group showing their brand. And we would, on the back of that, host 12 events. That was my deal with them. I ended up delivering 17 events.
Wow.
So
wow.
Always under promise and over deliver.
Yep.
That should be the motto of most people, but sadly nowadays it's more like under deliver and over promise. But me, in my case, that was the contrary. So
yeah, of course, it's the old school way of doing it. It's how it should be done. Huh?
It should be done like it. And I think that time I sit down there, and I was on top of the building, and I think it was one of it was a show party or Naomi Campbell party, I forgot what it was. And I just sit down and I was like, okay, I think that part of my life is done. I reached a level that I wanted to reach. Let's move on to something else. So that's my biggest achievement, was my biggest, in my mind, the moment that I thought, okay, I've made it there, was not with CoCoBox. CoCoBox brought me to that level, but it was with Versini, which was amazing 12 days.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, it was a super successful venture, and congratulations. And I'm sure you would have enjoyed the process. Looking back on it, it's a fond. In the end, everything that's left is good memories, right? So now you've mentioned you've moved on to another part of your life. You've moved to Bulgaria.
Yeah.
So where do we find JeanBernard now in his professional life? What's next? What are you working on at the moment?
Well, here's the thing. I've just done 10 years in London. I thought that it was time for me to move on to an emerging market. Bulgaria is full of opportunity. It's a EU country, still a bit late compared to the rest of the other country in the EU, but with the safety of the EU, as much as I know in this geopolitical tension, it's a bit of it's important to choose if you're on the side of NATO, on the other side of NATO. So we are on the side of NATO, and so it's safe for the moment. And but it's full of. I think that I got to a point where I asked myself, where can I go, and where can we create something big? And I think that you can create big things in those big cities like London and New York, where I live 10 years in New York and 10 years in London, and I live in Dubai. But I'm hoping I can create something bigger in an emerging market such as Bulgaria. So you can find me between London and Bulgaria. Business-wise, many different things are happening in my life. Obviously, the old school one, the real estate one. I mean, the real estate is always something that we need to keep in your portfolio. I think a lot of people diverge between 30%, so 30% real estate, 30% funds and stock, and 30% investment, a bit more risky. I think that me in my situation, I'm good 40% in real estate. So that's something that I'm developing as well between France and Bulgaria. But my baby today is a startup, a vitamin startup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not in the making. We've been working on it for a while. It's very confidential because it involves a lot of.
Tell us only what you can. Huh?
Yeah.
Don't say too much.
No. I can't. Not for the moment. But I'll come back next time when I can tell you everything, and I will talk about it more openly. But as we speak, it's a vitamin. It's a revolutionary, I would say, vitamin product because of the market we are targeting, and that come back to the thing that I taught, that I learned during all those years in doing CoCoBox and Versini and everything, is I'm trying to tick all the boxes when I do a business. Yeah. So vitamin is trendy, but vitamin is a super saturated market.
Very saturated.
But it's super saturated because...
But it's not the first time you've entered the saturated market, of course, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A restaurant business or the real estate, you know. But again, it's the angle you're taking. Yeah. I don't think it's the angle you're taking on the saturated market. Because nowadays, except AI or everything that is related to space or all those I don't see what other market is not saturated. I mean, you have competition everywhere. Yeah. The only problem is the vitamin business. They went a bit lazy on it. The big people that had previous success, because they've been focusing on claim and nobody really know if those claims are working. Yeah. So what we try.
There's not enough research. Basically.
Well, yes, or is not enough. They play too much on marketing and not enough on the product itself, and the research. Yes.
So JB, what does the vitamins industry need at the moment?
Here's the thing. I think the vitamin industry, what they need is true products, product that works, product that are not just based on marketing. I think they went a bit. It's very easy today with the influencer and all this variety of marketing support. Yeah. To just be lazy and just create a product.
And have an influencer push it, and that's it, you know.
And that's it.
Without any research or.
And people buy it. So I mean, there is research behind. There is a lot of research behind, but there's not. You know how many skin vitamin or energy vitamin or hair vitamin might work for some people and might not work for other people, or some of them, they claim it does something and actually it doesn't. And the reason why they want to market like that is because just with the right marketing strategy, well, people will buy it.
Yeah.
They won't. If you put so I think that I'm 1 year and a half in. It's a long time to create a startup. 1 year.
It is actually.
Yeah. And I'm not finished. I think I have another good 6 months.
It's the attention to detail, though. Sometimes, things like this take time, and if you rush them, you can miss out on important points, right?
Yeah, and also the fact that I will not put something on the market that don't work 100% on me and on all my friends.
Yeah.
At least at the beginning, and then obviously on all the clients that will buy it. My point is, when I sold the CoCoBox, I sold the product. Okay,
You sold the brand, basically.
I sold the brand, but the brand did what I sold.
Yeah.
So when you're a good salesperson, people will tell you, a good salesperson can sell you anything. But okay, fine. Yeah, you can lie if you want.
Yeah.
But good salesperson is somebody that basically have a good product to sell. If you have a good product to sell, you're a good salesperson because you're telling the truth, you're being honest, and you managing to get to the result you're working on by not having to lie.
Yeah.
And that starts by having a good product, and that's what we did with CoCoBox. That's what we did with Versini. That's what we're gonna do with this new product.
Mm-hmm. And of course, JeanBernard, you are one of our, valued business partners in the European market, real estate market.
Yep.
Particularly in France.
Yep.
And we've worked on a number of things together already. I'd be curious to understand, from your contacts and the people you speak to all the time, what do you think, the market for finance in France is not providing to investors out there at the moment?
Well,
why are they looking elsewhere?
Well, not to talk in details because it's private what we've been working on, but to take the example without saying any names, the reason why the people I was working with based in the south of France or in Corsica were looking for investment in countries such as England with you, or outside of France in countries that are a bit more active, is that in France, if you're a land developer, in order in France to develop a project, if you have to go through the normal process of loan via bank, you won't be competitive with people that are their own finance, or people that get finance from outside of the country, because it takes too long. So the French real estate market is booming.
It is, yeah.
It's booming.
There's a big appeal for it.
Big. It's south of France. I mean, you always think, when you think about commercial, you think about a bit more in the land. When you think about residential, you think about Cannes, Saint-Tropez, Nice, all these places. But if tomorrow you're a land developer and you decide to do a project in January, a project in March, a project in February, because that's what you basically, or maybe not, maybe a bit more, maybe with a bigger gap, and you go to the bank will need at least 3 to 5 months to give you the loan.
Yeah.
And
that's way too long. That's way too long.
You know better.
Sometimes you miss out on an opportunity. You need to move quickly. And in the UK, we're very lucky that we have a very diverse and varied, bridging market.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bridging lenders out there, and it allows investors, real estate investors, to mobilize funds quickly and take advantage on, opportunities when they come up without having to wait such a long time. And I feel like the market in France isn't as, let's say, accessible, So there is a big opportunity there to work with people from France at least, and in other countries in Europe, and that's where it lags behind. So
No, but it's completely true. And to talk about what we experienced, you and me, the reason why the land developer were very excited to work with you is because you had the speed on the process and the speed on getting the funds. That was unmatchable in France.
Yeah. Speed is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, but you miss an opportunity if you cannot. Opportunity, you know better than us. Mm-hmm. In real estate, when an opportunity shows up, the minute after, if you are aware of it, you've got 10 other people aware of it.
Exactly. JB, we want to now go into more of, it's called the Humans of Finance podcast. So we want to know also, not just about, what you're doing professionally, but more the human side. Mm-hmm. And it's always interesting to just understand a bit about your childhood, your upbringing. What was your journey like growing up? Did you grow up in the south of France?
Yeah. So, grew up in Aix-en-Provence. I'm doing my...
No, that's okay.
No, do it.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Grew up in Aix-en-Provence.
Beautiful place to grow up.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think best bread in the world. Rosé, I learned about it a bit later on, around my 15 or 16, and starting 17, we had overdose of rosé, so no more for us. But a beautiful place. Very interesting. My parents were land developer as long as I remember.
So they were in the real estate game as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
land developer, but mostly commercial. So industrial zone. My dad was a bit of an adventurous. My dad was trying many things while my mom were keeping the boat floating.
Stable, yeah.
Yeah, stable. Yeah. But they both partner. But my dad I think one time bought a fishing boat and went to Costa Ivory for 3 months to fish big. I mean, enormous fish or whatever. And
what an idea! I mean, how did he think?
But my dad was always an adventurous. I mean, my dad was born very quickly, so I think that he started businesses. My dad went to Sciences Politiques, ENA, which is like a top school in France, but
I see parallels, in what you're saying about yourself. You're very entrepreneurial, and you're not just focusing on one sector specifically. You're diversifying, and you are taking a bit of an adventure every time you do something like that.
Yeah.
Would you say you got that from him? Maybe?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Both of them. My parents were very, very adventurous. My dad had a business in Morocco. I still have some business in Morocco, inherited from him, printing business, but very small. But and then my parents' main business was in Nîmes.
In Nîmes, okay.
Yes, so I was doing back and forth Nîmes from my 9 to my 12 years old. And then at 12 years old, I decided to go learn Arabic in Morocco.
You learned Arabic?
أعرف العربية جيدا.
Oh, wow. Okay. كلش زين.
ماشي مزيان.
Probably better Arabic than me at the moment.
لا ماشي مزيان بشوية أنا.
Okay, very good.
But and then at 13 back to Aix, and one thing led to another. Decided to go study in New York, and then after New York, Paris, because my dad was a bit tired, so I had to come back. And very lovely childhood. Parents love me. No particular problem on that note. Very smart people. They both passed away.
I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah. But the good part is they left enough knowledge and
a good legacy.
A good legacy in me. So you can only be blessed when that happened.
It's a blessing. It really is a blessing. And did you have any siblings? Do you have any siblings?
No.
So just only child?
Yeah.
And did you like, having all the attention?
It is. You don't have all the attention. You go after the attention. The good thing about being an only child is you learn how to adapt yourself to any environment very quickly. You learn how to make friends very quickly, and you learn to help yourself in many different circumstances without having a big brother backing you up when you are in trouble at school, for example.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so basically at the end of the day, the good thing about moving so many places, you experimenting so many different environments, because it's a big stretch when you go from south of France, even to Morocco, then.
You're going out of your comfort zone, out of what's familiar,
all the
learning
time.
Different languages, different businesses.
But I learned, thanks to that, to be very
versatile.
Versatile, exactly, and adapt quickly. Hence, I'm in Bulgaria. You know how many of my friends, when I told them after 10 years I'm moving to Bulgaria, told me you're completely insane.
Well, this is why we want to hear about it. Bulgaria is a big change, and you speak about it in glowing terms. You're very excited about Bulgaria, and it's an unknown market to me and a lot of people,
But you know why? Because the problem of Bulgaria is they don't understand themselves how good they have it, right? So how can you promote your country well when yourself don't realize how good you have it? And you know how French people, we're very chauvinist. You know chauvinist? People that basically show off all the time and everything. With our friends, we have
very
that.
proud, very, let's say, expressive, very inviting though, very hospitable people.
Well, very show off sometimes as well. But
in the south of France, maybe,
but you know, when you hear about French people, it's all about I have the best one, I have the best.
Yeah.
When you hear about Bulgarian, they're like, I don't like that, I don't like that. And I'm there and I'm telling them, no, you have it completely wrong. You have a lot of amazing things in your country. And when I start to name them, they're like, oh, that's not false. So
Bulgaria needs that French flair.
Well, we're going to try to bring that. I don't know if we're going to bring the French flair. I mean,
you're definitely bringing it for sure.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, by definition. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you mentioned your parents, of course, as influential figures in your life. You know, you learned a lot from them, and you had a wonderful upbringing with them.
Yeah.
Would you say they were the key influential figures for you, or are there other people that influenced you, both, professionally and in life in general? Anyone else you looked up to?
Yes, I mean, obviously, the fact. I think the parents, once you kind of is out of eyesight, right? When you travel, because I was traveling a lot since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And in New York, I had a couple of friends of mine, a couple of people that now are my friend, financial people that were very inspirational for me. I mean, all through my journey, and even now, I look up at people, because at the end of the day, you never arrive. You always look up to people younger, sometime, and you learn a lot. And I think this is the most important. The most important is to understand that to take the best out of the people around you and people that surround you. And
yeah, we're always learning. That's one thing for sure that I like to believe. In life we're always learning, and we can learn from anybody. Yeah. Anyone can be an inspiration at any point. So that's good to know. And in your life so far. And, it's up to you how deep you want to go with this, but what would you say has been both your happiest moment and your lowest moment?
Well, none of them happened yet.
Well, maybe the lowest moments happened, but happier moments ahead.
I mean, I'm just saying, there was never a lower. I cannot call, at the time I could have called certain moment low for me.
Yeah.
But today it was just a learning process. So it's not, when I look back on it, I'm not sad. I don't regret. I don't have any bad feeling about it. I just think, okay, I'm taking my lesson from that and I'm moving on. And whatever happened in the past that would be maybe defined for some people as low, personally, me, that was the best thing that happened to me, because they make me grow and they make me stronger. So, sure. And the happiest moment, that's what I mean.
Well, maybe the most proud moment so far in your career, in your life. I know.
I think whatever if you have the most proud moment already and you're not looking for it, that also take away the search for greatness. I'm just looking forward all the time. So for me, I will be proud when I will be proud when I get this startup going. And I'm sure that when I get this startup going, I'll be like, that's not enough. I will be proud when I make this, you know what I mean? And
you have that hunger to keep, doing more things. Yeah. Okay, interesting. And
this tea is really good. I'm like drinking it like this.
I can give you some on your.
Yeah, for sure. We're taking it back to Bulgaria.
Good. Okay, here's a different one. If you could go back in time and speak to a younger JeanBernard and advise him, on what is to happen in his life, what would you tell him? How would you direct him on what to expect? Let's say that's coming ahead.
I will tell him that I will tell him to be patient. I will tell him to be resilient. I will tell him to be patient, but to be ready.
It's funny because, you know, on some of the podcasts we've done so far, patience seems to be a recurring theme. I feel like some people feel like when they're younger, they're less patient, they're rushing too much, and they don't realize, you know, actually, they do have time to get things right.
I would say that I learned only recently to be patient.
Yeah.
And I'm not young, because I learned that with my new startup, and it's been a big challenge for me to understand that everything has a process. Because when you do restaurant and you have 5 months to do them, you don't have patience. There's 5 months and you have to close the deal in 5 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But when you have no deadline because you're looking for greatness, then sometimes patience is required.
Yeah, it's a big thing. And what would you say, you know, you're mentioning obviously the vitamin business, your real estate portfolio, number of ventures you're working on at the moment. What are your targets for 2024, your objectives?
My targets is to finally find the perfect product that I've been working on for so long in my field of energy vitamin, and we've been we are I think like the version 10 of it. A lot of people told me for a long time that we were ready for market, and I still don't think so, and so we're still working on it. That's the first one. The second one would be to find in Bulgaria the professional angle that I'm going to take, because I just moved there 3 months ago, and everything, I feel like a kid in a candy store. There's everything.
Yeah,
you know, it's like everything. This is an emerging market. There's so much thing that you can do in a market like this that you're a bit dizzy.
Yeah, you seem very enthusiastic about Bulgaria.
Because I know there's something there that will flourish, and I know there's something there that will bring all that times that I've been spending there worth it. And then
how's the language going? Have you picked up any words?
No, my girlfriend, thanks God, is Bulgarian, because otherwise
without her you would struggle to communicate with people.
I would struggle to eat. I will struggle to even eat during the day, because
they also, so that not many people speak English.
I was joking on this one. They do speak English, but if you're lucky enough to be with someone that speaks the local language,
and in a business sense, it's almost the next level, right? It's kind of hard to communicate with someone who doesn't speak English.
They do speak English, the businessmen that we talk with. Don't get me wrong. No, I want to get back on that. They're not illiterate. They do. But I think that. It's more like the day-to-day that will be a bit more complicated. For example, if you need to take a cab or something like this, they're not all fluently English. If you want to go to supermarket or the fishmonger or something like this, because I'm a big foodie, obviously. That is a bit, but that's also what makes this country charming and make it. I feel like in a movie. So if they were all speaking English, you'd be like, okay. I just moved to the suburb of London, you know, but no.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, JB, it's been, I should say JeanBernard. I make a habit of saying JB because we're also friends. JeanBernard, c'était un plaisir.
C'était un plaisir, moi aussi, merci.
Yeah, it's been great, obviously, to hear about all these things you've done before and what you're going to, venture into now. So I wish you the best of luck.
And merci.
Stay in touch as always. Thank
you very much for having me. It's I've been asked to get on a few podcasts in the past, but not because of course because we are friends, but also because the angle that you take is very interesting, and I felt very comfortable talking with you, and it's thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.